everyone, this is Kathy Tiffany, and I am here with my good friend Sherri DeRhodes, and she is our Babe of the Month this month. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for agreeing to do this interview.
Thanks for asking me.
You are welcome, and the reason that I chose Sherri is because she has shown a lot of leadership in following her dreams, and we believe at Babe that is a very important thing to do. And so we'll start off with, what is it that you do for a real job, like for a paycheck?
Well, I work in a small consulting firm as the office manager, so I'm an administrator.
All right.
And it's a job I love very much. Takes good care of me and lets me pursue my other interests.
Well, that's important. And you can either give the exact or the general vicinity of how old are you?
Well, I'm in my 50s and I'm well seasoned.
All right,
a lot of experience there.
I think it's important for people to understand. I think people think that pursuing your dream is a young person's thing, and then they abandon them when they get older. And I believe that's what makes people older. Like, it makes you old.
It can, absolutely, and thank goodness that, you know, I'm thinking of these things now. Better late than never.
Right. Right. So you have your job, and then we'll get right to it. What is your passion?
Well, I have a lot of passions, but I think what we're talking about today is that I do holistic life coaching, and I am currently teaching a workshop on weight loss, and that stems from my own personal experience of losing weight over the last year.
So, well, if you would, I mean, I know your story. I think that it's just an interesting series of events that shows someone how you can take, you know, maybe some not so hot things that have happened to you and turn it into something that's really fueling your soul. Because I know when you told me about what you're doing now, it was fun to see your eyes light up and see something that gets you excited.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people, like I have a friend right now whose purpose is to find a hobby to do, and she's struggling. And that's kind of stinks, you know? So if you could maybe just take us through shortly where you were and how and tell us exactly what you've developed that into, that would be interesting, I think.
Well, I've always struggled with weight loss, and like many people, I've gone up and down, and I had hit kind of an all-time high a couple of years ago, and an unfortunate incident happened that the gentleman that I was in a 7-year relationship with died suddenly, and it was because of his weight. And one of the very first things that I thought about as I was going through the grieving process was that I didn't want to do that too. I didn't want my family to lose me prematurely. I didn't want to cut my life short because there's so much, you know, so many great things to do and experience. So last year in 2010, I committed to losing weight, and I got help from a couple of different places, and I lost 65 pounds, and I still have more to go. But
awesome.
What then evolved is, as a holistic life coach, I like helping people set goals and achieve positive change in their life. So it just sort of all unfolded. I developed a workshop for weight loss that addresses the psychological and the emotional issues around losing weight, because there are all kinds of food plans and exercise programs out there, and of course that's what it's all about. At the same time, the way we perceive it and act with it is how, you know, how we are successful or not, and a lot of people struggle with that. So.
Well, and especially if, like you're saying, if it's emotionally rooted and you're doing the exercising and you're eating the right things, but if you haven't attacked that root problem or even addressed it, then you're probably bound for failure.
Well,
again.
Yes, unfortunately that's what happens. There's those typical scenarios of people who start and lose their resolve to do it, or they might have some success, but then they go back and they're using their old habits and put it back on plus more. So it's when you finally look, and it's not easy, you're really looking at yourself and understanding why you have certain behaviors that you engage in, and then figuring out ways to change it so that you can, you know, achieve a healthy weight, or eat normally, you know, have a good relationship with food.
Right. And I think that's my handy dandy charts that are behind us. One of the things is health, mind, body, and spirit, and that's one of the reasons why we picked you as Baby of the Month, because it is important. It's not just one aspect
Right.
to find success. So
Right.
I think that it's neat that, you know, you've taken, we'll classify it as tragedy and turned it into something positive for you. But I mean, lots of people probably can do that sort of thing, but then to turn it into something that helps other people is extra special. So I think it's cool.
And that just ties back to what one of my passions is sharing and teaching and helping other people.
Which is what ties into Babe, because all of these things like health, money, and the environment, and I have a kid, so the kid part is the things that I'm interested in.
Right.
And so, you know, a lot of people just don't have the information. When you have a passion for something, you investigate it, you learn more. And it's not that other people don't want to learn those things, they just don't have the passion for it, so they don't get the information. So it's nice that you're stepping up and sharing the information that you've learned.
Well, and it reinforces for me my own learning, so it's a real win-win situation.
Well, I think that's great. So, well, let's see. Well, I know the last question I want to ask you is, what would you like if you could say one thing to someone watching this who may be struggling with weight and have they either hit a plateau or just never done anything about it, what one thing do you wish that people knew?
That one size does not fit all. In other words, you've got to find what works for you and incorporate it into your own life, because everyone has their own set of circumstances, and so it has to be a realistic thing. And then also the idea of making a commitment to yourself and having a willingness then to pursue that. Those are things that are key when I start teaching people in the workshop, is to, you know, really look at yourself and ask the question, am I willing to do what it takes to make these changes? And it is possible.
Oh, for sure. You look great.
Thank you.
You can tell in your face you feel great, and I think it's wonderful.
I feel 10 years younger.
That's awesome. Then you'll be around 10 years longer.
That's right.
So that's it. This is our Babe of the Month, Sherri DeRhodes.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Kathy.